There is a man that talks about the exploitation of the Holocaust as he himself exploits his parents' background as Holocaust survivors to further his pathological hatred for Israel. What drives a man to waste his entire life in the pursuit of demonizing and inciting? Being born a Jew seems to give credence to some regarding this man's twisted narratives, but it does not. A Jew in birth alone does not give anyone special credibility regarding Israel and Jews, nor does being born of parents that survived the Holocaust. It was not he that experienced genocide, nor has he learned the lessons regarding where hatred and demonizing leads. A doctorate degree from an allegedly prestigious university does not give him special knowledge, awareness, or an understanding regarding Israel, the Middle East, or the ethics required in proper scholarship. American universities have become institutions of indoctrination instead of scholarship far, far too often. It is not necessary to defend Israel or to like Israel to respond as human beings to what Hamas and Islamic Jihad did on October 7th. Hamas and Islamic Jihad raped women and girls. They beheaded people. They burned people alive. They murdered and wounded thousands of civilians. They mutilated and tortured people. They disemboweled people. They paraded around Gaza the body of a naked young Jewish woman to be spat upon, beaten, and defiled. Babies, children, old women, defenseless men and women were beheaded, burned alive, murdered, kidnapped. Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, Iran, and all of their supporters have never hidden their genocidal intentions. On October 7th, they showed to the world what they would do to Jews, including babies, children, girls, women, defenseless people, if given the opportunity. Their cause for the destruction of Israel and the genocide of its people were never meant to be empty words. Finklestein ignores the ethnic cleansing of the majority of Israel's Jewish population from Arab-majority lands and why they are now in Israel. He ignores the Jews that originated in places like Yemen, Libya, Syria, Egypt, Algeria, Morocco, Lebanon, British-controlled Palestine, and elsewhere in the Middle East and Africa, even though these Jews and their descendants form the majority population of Israel. These Jews know only too well what will happen to them if Israel is destroyed. Finklestein wants the narrative about Israel to be the one of his choice. He wants Israel to be seen as demonic. Once the people are demonized, the next step of rape and slaughter becomes that much easier to implement. Hamas and Islamic Jihad make it clear that this is not about occupation. The preferred narrative for much of the left eager to demonize Israel, even though the left and most people on the planet live on occupied land taken from the original indigenous people. Hamas and Islamic Jihad make it clear that they see this as a religious war in which it is their religious obligation and duty to destroy Israel and exterminate Jews. Even though they openly admit to seeking genocide, Finklestein chooses to ignore these and everything else, including their supremacist, pathological hatred for Jews in Israel that does not fit into his, Finkelstein's, simplistic and demonized narratives about Israel. Let us focus for a moment on the crime of rape alone. There are plenty of people living under occupation in the world. There are plenty of people living in extreme poverty, far worse than what there is in Gaza. And unlike in Gaza, they do not have a permanent UN refugee agency providing permanent welfare dependency. Millions of impoverished people live all over the world without any safety net of any sort, unlike the safety net the UN and others provide to the residents of Gaza. People in Darfur, black Muslims, are being raped and slaughtered by Arab militias. There is complete silence regarding this genocide because it does not give rise to an opportunity to demonize Israel. All over the world, millions of people live in war conditions, in extreme poverty, in horrible conditions. Despite the terrible hardship hundreds of millions of people live under, it does not drive them to go out and rape and kill. Raping women and girls, raping anyone is always evil. It is always inexcusable. It is never to be justified. Hamas and Islamic Jihad knew Israel would have to respond to their October 7th atrocities. They are the ones that choose to use the civilians of Gaza as their human shields, no matter how many lives are lost. They openly admit to worshiping death. They seek the deaths of innocent civilians as propaganda cannon fodder to their demonic cause. All of this Finklestein ignores because he wants others to hate Israel as he does and to agree with his simplistic, demonic narratives that Israel is bad and everyone that is against Israel, no matter how murderous they might be, no matter how sexually abusive and demented they might be, are good as long as they are against Israel. Anyone that tries to justify rape and the deliberate murdering of civilians, including by beheading, burning alive, mutilating, cutting, shooting in cold blood, which is what Hamas and Islamic Jihad did on October 7th, does not deserve a platform, does not deserve a voice, does not deserve any credibility whatsoever. Defending, deflecting, justifying the crimes of rape and murder is evil in and of itself. Yet this is what Finklestein does to the delight of millions. Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, the Iranian regime, and many others are open about their hatred for Jews and Israel and their goal to exterminate Israel and slaughter its Jewish citizens. Hamas and Islamic Jihad showed on October 7th what they will do to defenseless people of all ages living on the land of Israel when they get their hands on them. Finklestein denies that there is anti-Semitism or hatred against Jews in the world. The mere fact that he is as popular as he is proves otherwise.